tuned into Sacred Erotic Poetry, Sacred Sexuality, and Ascension with Gila and Nehemia. This is my podcast. And before I even begin, I just want to thank everyone who's been subscribing to me. I got I don't know, over 11 subscribers in the last couple of weeks, and my last podcast, I got over 5,000 views, and I'm just like so grateful. I don't know. I don't know what to say besides thank you, and I'm really grateful for those of you that this resonated with, and those of you that my words really made an impact, that you subscribe. So I just want to thank you first and foremost, and I want to thank the divine. I feel really blessed, and I feel really blessed to be walking on this path with all of you. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, silence and what it means to be in unity with ourselves, with the divine, with another. I know I talked about divine unity last week. You know, it's this concept of Hieros Gamos, where we are really in balance with both our masculine and feminine, and bringing in silence with that as well. So without ado, let's close our eyes. And those of you who are listening, keep listening. This is going to get juicier and more fun, and definitely really philosophical. So, take a listen, take some time to set some sacred time to just connect to yourself. So, we'll begin with 3 deep breaths. Calling in Mother Earth, Father Sky, connection to our deep wisdom within, connection to all that is, to our ancestors, to all of our past lives, to help us to take the next step in full oneness, in unification, in wholeness with ourselves, with another, and with our unfolding. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Aho, and so it is. So many thoughts were coming to my mind before I came on today. I want to continue the idea of divine unity and what that means to me, and to the collective as we're stepping into this new paradigm of Earth, and we are fully allowing ourselves to step in, and also ideas about silence that have been coming up for me this week. So Hieros Gamos, I believe it's Greek. Yes, Hieros Gamos is from Greek. Hieros meaning sacred or holy, and Gamos meaning marriage. So how does that connect with divine unity? Well, Hieros Gamos is actually the union of our energies. So it begins within ourselves with the divine, and of course, marriage could mean between between people. So how does that relate to union? Well, this real divine union, or this Hieros Gamos, this sacred holy marriage, exists first within ourselves with our own energies. We like to talk about masculine and feminine, but I feel like there's so many different parts of our energies, and to just say that we have two is actually, I feel, not true. It's like we have so many different sides to ourselves, and as we really connect them and acknowledge them and are honest about them, and accept and forgive all of the pieces that we were, or whether we were, masquerading as, and we step into wholeness and oneness, that's when we see that there is so much more to our lives than we previously perceived. And I feel like, the only way I can really explain this is for those of us that have been through lots of traumatic experiences, and we begin to respond differently to things that we have that have happened to us in the past. Like for example, for myself, I no longer attract um, partners that are like what's the word? I can't think of the right word, but unavailable, emotionally, mentally, physically, like it's more of this, I become the available person for myself, and I also want to really discuss this. This has been happening for me this week, and I want to share with you, that it's not just about the shadow. It's not just about, the things that we've um projected from our consciousness that are coming out in our life. It's also about implants. It's also about paradigms that have been placed in us that have to be removed. And I feel like when we're on this path, this sacred journey of oneness, or our highest journey towards our highest self, our best version of ourselves, whatever you want to call it, um, we will find the ways to do that. We will find the healing because we are on this path, whether it's coming to you suddenly, or it's something that you're striving towards, or something you never thought of and you're like, wait, hey, maybe that makes sense for me. I need to do this to remove something that is deep inside my psyche that maybe I don't even really consciously know about, but I feel like it makes sense. And I'm going to be jumping around a bit, but I want to talk about silence because I don't think that a lot of what we need or are desiring, or even communicating, like with a partner, with our children or loved ones, but especially with someone who you feel intimate with, a lot of that communication is not verbal. There's a lot of non-verbal communication, and not just between partners, but also within ourselves, right? We can't always express everything that's going on for us. As much as somebody might want to know us, or we want to share all of ourselves, it becomes really difficult when we're just focusing on language. And I don't just mean words. It could be a form of art, or it could be through poetry, music. It could be through touch. It could be through just presence. It could be through just experiencing things together. There's so many different ways. Sometimes, it's just like you're just looking into someone's eyes, or you're just being present with them, and that's a form of communication. And I feel that we focus so much on what he said, what she said, what they said, what we said, and we forget about the nonverbal. We focus on, most of our society at least focuses on the verbal, but I feel like, since I've been young, I've always focused on the nonverbal. Like what are the nonverbal cues? What is the energy that I'm feeling? Even if I didn't express it, or even if it was like pushed to the side in different circles, I knew that there was a real significance there, and I knew that I had the power to discern that. So, part of what I'm trying to say today is one about Hieros Gamos and holy marriage within ourselves, which then can magnetize a sacred partner. But the other part of that is, how do you know that you're on that path? And that silence is necessary in order to bring on your psychic powers, bring on more of who you really are. And that doesn't necessarily mean through, quote unquote, normal communication lines. That could mean you just get an intuitive hit, or you suddenly see a vision in your mind, and you're like, wait, where did that come from? But you have this knowing that this is actually the path that's going to unfold for you. And you don't know how, you don't know when. You're like, where did I even get this? We don't know, right? We just don't know. Where do ideas come from? Ideas, I remember reading somewhere, ideas are like always floating around, and we're like connecting to them. Whether they're outside of us or inside of us, I can't really say. I'd like to think that they're always inside of us, and they just kind of bubble up. We just create more of the space to allow them to bubble up. Like, would I know that I was walking into Hieros Gamos 6 years ago, 10 years ago? No, I had absolutely no idea. But I did know that the situation I was in was not healthy. And I knew that as much as I wanted it to continue and it ended, it was really necessary for those things to end. And, with every end, there's a new beginning. With every like uncloaking, we become more of our authentic selves and we just, become more comfortable in our own skin and more at peace with who we are. And I feel like that's really the purpose of this life, right? That the purpose of this life is to really come to terms with all of who we are, create balance within ourselves as much as we can, and release the perceived stress, because and I told you this is going to be kind of like a bit of a jumping around, but stress is perceived, and perhaps we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And I know I've said this before, and it comes out as stress, but what if it's actually, unhealed trauma that's still coming out? Like I have to be perfect, or I have to do this job well, or something's going to happen to me. What if nothing is ever really going to happen to you and you just create that in your mind? Because I know that I've been in situations where I have all this stress, but nobody's breathing down my back, nobody's threatening me, but I feel this, huge like weight or this huge like responsibility to do my best. Um, and I'm definitely advocating for always doing our best, but that doesn't mean that we need to, you know, break all of the doors to make that happen, right? We don't need to like stretch ourselves so thin that we burn out. And I know that burnout is real. It's I've felt it. I know what it's like, and I know when to stop. Because I realized I was on that path, and I was like, wait, this is not the path I want to be on. So going back is like, why do we think that only if we burn out or we light the candle to the very last wax that's in it, that we've pushed all of who we are, and then we're just like, okay, I need a rest, like what if we can balance our life and still be present and still do the best that we can do, and know that that is perfect just the way it is. And there we don't have to push ourselves anymore. Hieros Gamos is balance in all of who we are. Hieros Gamos is a holy marriage within ourselves, before we connect to another or with another as well, or with the divine. But it's that huge level of safety and divinity that nothing, nothing, nothing can shift it. We are so grounded and so peaceful within ourselves that we need no validation. We know we're on the right path. And, other voices might come up, but it is our then responsibility to close them out because we know we are safe, we are secure in our knowing that this is the path and nothing else is going to sway us. I'm really attracted to Buddhist ways of being and saying and quotes and philosophy because I feel like that's the way. Like I know about Christ consciousness. I'm really into Christ consciousness. But honestly, if you're gonna ask me like what are the things that really resonate with me, it's the Buddhist monks or it's Buddha himself. That kind of teaching of peace, of compassion, of kindness, of gratitude, of continuing on this path, of self-realization and of service and of silence, and this continual process of moving forward, even though it looks like you're not moving at all. Right? It's the like it's these sometimes we feel like we're in the same place. It's been a year. We're still in the same place. And I don't mean physically, it could mean you're in the same job or you're in the same relationship and I don't know, it could be many of those things. But yet we're still moving forward and we might not be able to see it. It's like in the void. When you're in the void, it seems like, oh, I'm nothing. But it's actually in the nothing that the that birth occurs. It's so how do we How do we come to terms with that, right? It sounds great philosophically, but what does that even mean? Well, unless you allow everything to close out and you're in this void space of emptiness, there's nothing that can be birthed, right? If we continue to do the same patterns that we've always done, if we continue to think the same thoughts that we've always thought, how are our thoughts going to change? How are we going to change? How are we going to transform? The only way to step into birth is by changing our thoughts and changing our patterns and realizing that some of who we were doesn't really need to continue anymore. If you just don't go out with the same people that cause you anxiety, and so then you now are on your own or with other people who make you feel good, that whole chapter of anxiety begins to close, and that doesn't really exist anymore for you. And like that's the other part of this. So we're stepping into Hieros Gamos, some of us are stepping into these really conscious sacred relationships, and we're just like, wait, we don't have to feel that way anymore. How are we going to even do this? It's so foreign to us. It's so foreign to feel loved and secure and happy with our lives. Honestly, I feel that way sometimes. Like, yeah, everything's going pretty great. And I'm not really waiting for another shoe to drop. Like, I know it's just going to continue to be better. And it's like a new way of being. And this is a new earth, right? It's a new way of being, and we get to really reclaim all of our power and be who we want to be. We're constantly changing the map, and we just are feeling better and better about it. And those of us that are not there yet, you know that you can get there. And that's why we're here together, right? We're here to share our experiences. We're here to grow together. We're here to connect with each other. So if I'm resonating with you, definitely schedule a call with me at gila@gilanahami.com. You can send me an email or just go to my website, gilanahami.com, and schedule a 15-minute free chat so we can discuss this. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that the deeper you get into your own silence, you're going to connect deeper into your own psychic powers. And those psychic powers are going to help you to lead you to your highest journey, which could be Hieros Gamos, divine, sacred, conscious relationships. First and foremost is with yourself. Holy marriage, sacred marriage with yourself, with the divine, with another. It's going to unfold for you. If that's something that you're desiring, if you're desiring, just to really be in more happiness. Just really just to, you know, connect with the joy within yourself. And it doesn't, you're feeling like, okay, that's not really what I want. I just want to be joyful. I just want to be happy. I just want to be at peace. Um, you're going to have that. It's just a matter, I feel, of first going within and seeing, okay, what's really not working for me? What can I do about it? Or what, maybe I don't need to do anything. Maybe I just need to accept that that is a state of being, and the next answers will come because I trust, because I'm safe, because I'm secure, because I know that nothing can disturb my peace. I know many of you, some of you are from the States, or, you are aware of what's happened in Texas with the elementary school children. There was a shooting, and it really pained my heart. And I really just wanted to share that I feel like I've been thinking about it. I might have mentioned in my last podcast, but I wanted to share again that, I was thinking like, what could be done? I don't think it's just gun control. I think it's really focusing on mental health and really talking to people of all ages, children, adults, even beings, animals, just really communicating and really sending love and giving what people need at the time of distress. Like something like what happened there and what's happened before in a variety of different places is not like just suddenly something just, a light bulb went off and I was like, I'm going to do this. Like it's been building up over time. And society has something to do with it. The way that that person and persons have been treated have something to do with it. There's a lot of different variables here. So how do we get from that state of being into this Hieros Gamos, right? It seems like it's almost like two opposite ends of the planet, or of consciousness. In a sense, it is, but yet, if we can say as people that we're dedicated to the mental health, the emotional health, the holistic health of all beings, I really feel like the whole, world will shift. Like we won't really need war. We won't really need guns because we're dedicated to each other's upliftment. And that takes a huge effort. I mean, it's like I could say this, but I don't have the actual, you know, organization to do this. But I know that I can begin to think this way. I can begin with my small circles, with those people that are following me, to begin to talk about this. And that's how things shift, in small doses. So if you want some huge worldwide change, think about what you can do today for yourself that can begin that worldwide change, that begin that ripple effect for the entire universe. It might be Hieros Gamos, you really connecting to your divinity and to holy marriage within yourself and with another and with the divine. And that in and of itself, your own joy, your own connection to your divinity can begin to create a ripple effect on a situation that just happened in Texas. And you may think like, wait, how does that even make sense? Well, that's what it is, right? That's where we go back into silence. We don't know how it makes sense, but we know that thoughts create things. And we know that when we begin to create something, a new philosophical way of thinking, it does affect something else. There's always a cause and effect. And it might not be right now, or it might not be in like 30 days, but it will happen. So that is one of the reasons why I come on every week. And I really appreciate that people are resonating with what I'm saying, because it's not just like, oh, yeah, it's great. I have so many views and I'm getting new subscribers. Yeah, that's totally cool and amazing. But really, what really turns me on is, whoa, people are listening and people want to change and people want to do something that's really good for them. And they're looking to see how they can shift things in their own lives and the lives of others. That's very exciting to me, because the more people that are interested in that and are sharing and talking about that, that's how things change and shift. So divine union is not something that is just written in, love stories like, we can just talk about movies, right? The Notebook, or if we talk about the Song of Songs, that of King Solomon. It's not just something that's written, or, any other religious text, like Radha Krishna, from Hinduism. There's so many, right? um, uh, it's not just that. It's not just a story. It could be your life. It could be something that you experience. It's totally amazing and just like never ends. Like, wow, how cool can that be? Like you're actually living it. But it's not just that you're living it, you're then in service to others because you realize the power of your thoughts and the power of releasing and healing and being authentic and vulnerable and actually saying, yes, I am receiving this, and I'm not only going to enjoy this, I'm going to move in pleasure, but I'm also going to be able to share with others my journey so that I can help to shift my circle, parts of the planet, into more pleasure and love and oneness. I feel like that is really my mission in life, to share these thoughts, to live it, and to really embody it so that I can help others to be in that space. Um, because it's attainable, it's possible. And the more that we allow those possibilities to actually bubble up in our minds and in our bodies and in our emotions, That's how companies make these huge shifts. They think about a product, they say, okay, this is what's going to happen. They start to get it all in motion and it starts to happen and then there's a huge thing that occurs. Sometimes it falls flat, but usually there's another revision that then becomes it's like, you know, Web 2.0 or something else 3.0, like there's another version. Well, forget about numbers, right? But we're always reinventing ourselves. And the more that we decide that we're reinventing, we're going to be relentless about reinventing. We're going to reinvent until we reach it. And that it may just be like peace. That it might just be like joy. A consistent level of joy, regardless of all of the things that can happen in our lives. We're on this high vibration of joy. Um, it's the question for you. When you sit in silence and you allow yourself to be empty, what's coming up? What's bubbling up? If your thoughts are still pervading and you can't let go of the stories, connect with me, on an app, Calm. There's so many meditation apps, or sit in nature, listen to the waves, do whatever you need to do to get into that zone of your own greatness, to that zone of your truth, because that zone is going to take you to the place of where you need to go, of really accessing your dreams. And I feel like, wow, that's really important. I wish I knew that like 5 years ago. The people that said to me, get into the zone. To me, it was follow the passion. And yeah, I'm very passionate and I know how to follow my passion. But I feel like the more I get into the zone, that zone begins to lead my way. So the more you practice getting into the zone is going to help you to really focus on your way, whatever your path is, and the way is very Buddhist, it's like a kind of a Buddhist saying, but, let's take out any kind of religion and just say the way, is your way. Is your way, and it's the ever unfolding way, it's the authentic way, it's the zone of genius way, whatever you want to call it. But it definitely is the path to your truth. And I feel the more of us that realize that this truth is actually intertwined with everyone else's truth, because it's the path into oneness, or just really respect, kindness, compassion, and love of all, then mental illness is no longer going to be something that we need to focus on. It's just going to be a normal way of being, that we are so not only cognizant of ourselves, but cognizant of others and empathic. And we allow all of those emotions to come up and allow ourselves to be seen and heard and felt, not only by us, but by others. And it'll just change the way we all interact with each other. So the more I think we spend a few minutes every day focusing on whatever that vision is for you, that's how we all collectively awaken, because we realize we can. You can have divine union. You can be in an amazing, vulnerable love relationship with another and with yourself and with the divine. You can have it all. And I think it's time that we realize we can have it all, and we have to let go, or we are invited to let go of the anxiety and all of those traumatic experiences that have kept us back from our true joy. And if you don't know how to do that yet, connect with your mental health professional, connect with me, connect with a coach, connect with someone who you really trust to help you to take that next step, whatever that next step is, and continue on the path of continuing to find what you need to get to the places where you want to go. So that's it for right now. I hope this resonated with you. This is really about connecting to your way and to finding that way through the silence, and because the kingdom of heaven is within. And the more that we can connect into that kingdom of heaven in silence, the more we're going to realize that heaven is actually right in front of us. And we just never thought that that was a possibility. But when we begin to believe that that is a possibility and is definitely happening, everything shifts. So I'm welcoming you into the shift. I'm welcoming you into the new earth, and I'm welcoming you to your own greatness. So if this is resonating with you, definitely subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and of course, connect with me at gilanahemi.com to schedule a call. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you are and all that you are becoming. I am so grateful beyond words that you're listening today, that you've joined me, that we're on this path together, that we've connected, even if it's for brief moments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll just take 3 breaths to close this circle. I want to thank God, Source Universe. I want to thank our archangels. I want to thank Mother Earth. I want to thank our hearts and our souls for connecting at this time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful to be on this path. And I'm so grateful to connect into the higher realms and to deliver the sacred transmission. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste, Shanti, Shalom. Peace and blessings.